Welcome to week 6. This is one of the bigger assignments, just as far as kind of wrapping one's head around sometimes. What you're going to be doing is an annotated bibliography, and you'll notice that this week you don't have a practice activity. All you have is this annotated bibliography. That being said, it is worth 8 points, so that's 8% of your total grade. So make sure that you put the focus that you need to on this. What an annotated bibliography is kind of like a bibliography for when you find articles in general, except for adding more content information to it. So, again, there's the unit outcomes, the assignment description. When you get into the directions, you're going to be finding, using the EBSCOhost or using specific databases that you have found, at least 7 peer-reviewed articles that have been published within the last 10 years. Please be very careful that it is within the last 10 years. That does show up in the rubric in your final paper, and it would be unfortunate to have to find new articles at that point in time. So at least 7. What you're going to be doing for each one is you're going to have a 6th edition reference put down, and again, here's a little sample. This is a fictitious one, but a little sample right there. And then under each of the references, you'll be doing an annotation. So this is 2 paragraphs long. In the first paragraph, you're going to explain the main points or ideas addressed in the study. So this is kind of like a synopsis of the study just as it is, not in what that means to you personally for your question, but just a summary of the main point of the article. And then in the second paragraph, you're going to talk about how that relates to your PICO question, how it's applicable. These do need to be actual paragraphs. One sentence is not going to get the job done. You need to make sure that you're well versed in what the article is about, as well as what that means to your study. Now, similar to a reference page, you do need to have the references be in alphabetical order. Just to clarify, that doesn't mean that there's multiple authors, they switch their names around within it to alphabetize authors within the same journal. The reason that authors are listed the way they are in a single article is based on how much time and work they put in on that study and on that article. And so even if it was like Wildcat W, comma, Smith J, Smith would still be the second person because Wildcat would have been that first name that put in most of the time. So, but that does mean that out of your at least 7 peer-reviewed articles, this one would come fairly late in, I would imagine, because the first letter of the author is, author's name is a W. So make sure that those are alphabetized. And also make sure to include your PICO question at the top of your paper. That's incredibly important so that your professor can see how each of those articles relates back to your PICO question. So there's a little hypothetical example in there, as well as how you would start those paragraphs and kind of what that would look like. Again, you're not going to have these dots in here. You're going to actually have your own content. If you're not quite sure on annotated bibliographies, there's a lot of sources out there online that can give you more information, including this link on OWL Purdue. So make sure you set aside plenty of time to do at least 7 articles in your annotated bibliography. They do need to be peer-reviewed articles from a journal. This isn't Time magazine. This isn't something you saw in a newspaper. Peer-reviewed journal articles from scholarly database. So if you have any questions, please reach out and ask your professors.